Matt, 4 of 24 from 3, 8 of 16 from the line. A lot of those came late, and you run away in this game. You talked a lot about doing the little things when shots aren't falling.
Right.
Is today kind of the epitome of that?
Yeah, I thought our guys, they played hard, and it's frustrating to execute and then get open looks and just continue to miss them, especially from guys that can make them. And that's what we just tried to keep, that positive vibe, and trying to keep them on edge and keep playing hard and just keep taking good shots. We didn't want the passer to make different decisions because guys were missing. We didn't want those guys to pass up on wide open looks, but we just wanted to keep executing and keep taking them. And I thought our guys made good decisions and really fought hard tonight. And we're very fortunate to play them at this time. Obviously, they're going through Dylan Harper being sick, which obviously he's not the same player coming off the flu. And whenever you have somebody like that, kind of your role definition and searching that out. You could see there late in the game when they got some layups and they got some things, the ball didn't go down for them. And it was just one of those games. So we're very fortunate to play him at this time because we all know how talented he is and how talented Ace Bailey is and how good of a program these guys have and how tough they are to play here. So, it's Gene Katie used to always say that, and it's not who you play, but when you play them, when you get into a league race.
I guess along those lines, what do you see from this Rutgers team going forward? The season with such high expectations,
right.
And now they're sitting on the outside of the
right. Yeah, you just need to get a win more than anything. You got to build on something, right? And sometimes, I always say this after practices. I always feel like we can beat anybody in the country or we can't beat anybody. I never feel in between. And like right now, I feel like $1 million. I think we can beat a lot of people, and he probably doesn't feel that, whatever. And my feeling's not real, and his feeling's not real. And you just got to get a win. You got to win a game, and then when you do that, you got to build on that and try to get the next one, and then you got to build confidence from there. Because that's all it is. Because they have the pieces. But when when he's not healthy and he's such a big piece of it, like how does this game unfold if Braden Smith has the same flu? Because he runs everything for us. Like how's this game unfold? Like what does this look like if they're healthy and he has the flu? Like it just reverses, but yet we both have the same teams. That's just where we are today, and that's what it's never as bad as it seems, and it's never as good as it seems, in this stuff. And I just think that's what if I was in that position, I know Coach is going to do the same thing. It's just like you got to do whatever you got to do to get that one victory, because it has to start somewhere, right? It has to start somewhere. You got to get that one victory and then build off of that.
Matt, this is 4 games in a row now. You guys have been pretty good defensively since Auburn. What's really falling into place here from a defensive perspective?
Yeah, well, the last 2 games, obviously, we put a lot of attention to Barnheiser and Martinelli, but we also know how dangerous Leach and Barry is. And the same thing holds true here. We give a lot of attention to Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey and really try to load up against them and do the best thing. So they're seeing 10 eyes when they have the basketball. And sometimes that's tough when people space and they have good spacing. So even though like 2 different schematic approaches, we're still trying to do the same thing for them and get them to score over us. When we have struggled and we have lost is when people get offensive rebounds against us and people score in transition against us. Now we put them to the free throw line because we're behind plays a lot. Tonight we did a better job of that. We only turned the ball over 8 times. So when you're not turning the ball over, in the first half we had no live ball turnovers. So not one turnover led directly to a basket. And we're just not beating ourselves. And that's more than anything. And you just can't beat Purdue, can't beat Purdue. And we did a better job taking care of the basketball. I love our shot selection. We're 4 for 24 from 3, we're 8 for 16 from free throws. Nobody's trying to miss shots. So I'm not going to be upset with somebody taking a good shot and missing it. You just got to stay positive. When guys break down, don't do their job, take bad shots, turn the ball over, now we got a problem. And our guys are really buying in, and that's hard, man. That's hard for guys to come off the bench and don't play as much. And just proud of our guys for the strides we've made since that Auburn game.
Jakari got a 3 to go late, makes a nice pass to first in the second half. Just what have you seen from him the last couple games, coming off the bench again and kind of getting back into rhythm?
Similar to to Caleb, more than anything. We were better tonight once again with Caleb. Like he has 7 rebounds, 7 points. but it's not an earth-shattering line, but we're better with him in the game. We were better tonight with Chikari in the game. And that's what you want to see. Like, you look at his line's not earth-shattering either, even though he got 4 rebounds in 17 minutes. But he was defending, he was doing little things, he was active, he was engaged out there. And that's what you want to see. And just keep doing it. Because, people don't understand that about playing time. Just keep doing your job, keep helping us win. And it's a funny thing how your minutes increase.
Matt, how hard is it to build culture when you have a wholesale roster turnover, 5 freshmen, 5 transfers? This is what it is for a lot of programs around the country right now, and it's going on here, obviously.
Yeah. It's the landscape, right? Like, it's not something that any of us created, but here it is. The ones that can adjust on a year-to-year basis are the ones that are going to be more successful. Like, you just got people leaving, going in the draft, getting hurt, like whatever it is. And then you got new guys. And so, like, you're trying to build, with all new guys. And it's really hard because what you have to have is, like, what Rutgers has always had a great defensive foundation. And then what he got from Coach Calhoun was that toughness, that nastiness, that ability to rebound. Like, they're one of the toughest teams for us to go against. And, we've had a little bit of a rivalry just going back and forth just from a competitive standpoint. And now you don't have the build-up as much. So I think what a lot of people are doing that are getting it figured out, besides just getting really talented guys, is finding those guys in the portal that have those winning qualities, because you don't have the time to instill it. You get them in the summer, you get them in the fall, and then you might lose them in the spring, right? And it's like dating in 8th grade. And everything's changing, everything's going a million miles an hour. And when you're used to building and having a guy as a freshman, then having him as a sophomore, then having him as a junior, and they keep going up, and now it's different, it's a little bit harder on all of us. And now it's, we've only lost 2 guys, we've only taken 2 guys out of the portal in the last 4 years. So we're a little bit different, but every time we lose a game, they tell me I should have went to the portal. Like, the geniuses that follow us. So, and then, every time we win, we do a good job developing. So it's a hell of a roller coaster.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
Tonight, you spoke about it briefly a little bit, but tonight, defensively, it looked like you guys played with a little bit more intensity. There were moments and times of the game Brendan Smith were calling off defenders when he was lined up against Harper. Just what can you say for just the overall team mindset heading into this game? How much did that matchup against Harper and any of these guys
right? Well, with all respect due to Dylan Harper, we had him in USA basketball. He isn't the Dylan Harper that you guys are used to seeing. Like, obviously being sick has really, really affected him. He wasn't, and so, like, you have to make sure you say that first and foremost, because he's a special player. But no, I thought our guys did a good job. I thought Braden did a good job. After the game was kind of unfolding, like, Acuff, like, we were just like, let's just give our attention here, because he's 8th leading scorer in the country last year. Ace is trying to get touches. We're trying to fight him for those touches. Let's make sure he doesn't get away from us here. So we really talked about that in the huddle. It's just like, give him more attention, because he can go get one. Like, he can go get his pull up. He can shoot threes. He can drive. He's a good scorer. You just don't score 22 points a game in college. I don't care what level you're at. So, like, that's what we were really trying to do more than anything. But just keeping them out of the paint and making them score over you, and not losing our mind when Ace hits tough ones. Like, that was the thing. I play with Glenn Robinson, and he would do that. Like, he'd like kind of steal your morale, right? You'd be like, what the hell's the problem? But, make them score over you, keep them on the free throw line, get them out of rhythm. And if they make tough ones, they make tough ones. And he's like that. He's a lot like Glenn Robinson is in terms of that length and that ability to make that pull up.
Now, you've said it in this room before, you kind of touched on this, but as you were going to war, you stopped in New Jersey and picked these guys up.
Yes, sir.
They play with. Do you see that in this team? Do you feel that's in
Yes.
this team?
Yeah. They have it. It's there. It's just, when you're searching roles, it's harder sometimes. When you have a lot of newer, like, guys that are new, it's hard. It just doesn't come right away. When you look at his teams are that way, like when Caleb McConnell first started, he didn't put fear in you. All of a sudden, year 2, you're like, oh, he's going to be pretty good. Then year 3, you're like, be careful dribbling around him. But when that ball was loose, whether it was McKay, whether it was McConnell, whatever, those dudes were they were coming. like now they're growing with it again. And like that's kind of how like we do it. Like we signed 5 freshmen too, and so they just weren't healthy. I just, if they're healthy against Wisconsin, they're healthy against Purdue, you could have 2 different outcomes. Like you got to keep that in perspective when somebody carries the water like he does. Like he's that good, he's special, and so like I said earlier, I give our guys credit. They played hard, but we played them at the right time. We got to keep it in perspective.
Over there, then Brian.
Rutgers kept the lead to 5 in that second half.
Yeah.
You call timeout, immediately go on a 9-0 run, outscore Rutgers 22-9 for the rest of the game. What was the message in that huddle, and how impressed were you with their response?
Yeah, I thought the response was big time. Obviously, Jakari Harris is a guy that can shoot the ball for us, and he has struggled. He stepped up and knocks that 3 down, then he makes a really nice play. He gets another shot in the same spot, too, that he misses. But I just thought our guys kept their poise. They were resilient, and they made those plays there. But you can't go on a run unless you get stops, and that's what we were able to do.
Last one, Brian.
You talk a lot about stealing points. There was a sequence where I think Cam and Caleb both got really highly contested rebounds, and you guys ran right off and got 2 fast break points.
Right.
Cam tips in the
Right.
offensive rebound there. Just can you speak to those moments in terms of being able to steal points, as you always say?
Yeah, no question. I thought Caleb was around it, and that was a big basket. Cam's tip-in was a big basket in the game. They had game momentum. The crowd got into it, and then that tip-in really quieted the crowd. But yeah, we have to be able to rebound in traffic. I always talk about watching on the film, like stopping it and just saying, like, we got one guy jumping and he's not on our team. Like, we got to have multiple people jumping for the basketball. You got to go hit people and go get it. But sometimes you can't hit them. Sometimes you're in help. Sometimes you're doing different things. Now when you get behind plays, like, get in there and scrap and get that basketball. And like, you look at it like from a possession standpoint, we're +6 in possessions tonight. If you flip that, like, things can change real quick. But no, I was pleased with their effort.